Okay. So 7/4 time works in a very similar way to 5/4 time. I was just speaking about how if you divided 7 by 2, you'd get 3.5, and if you divide it by 3, you'd get 3 2/3, 2 2/3, 2 1/3. So none of those are full numbers. They're all half. They've all got decimal points. So in order to get full numbers, we have to divide them into groups of 3 and 2. So I've put that up on the screen for you so you can see a number of combinations for 7/4. You can have a dotted minim, a minim, and a minim, or you can have a minim, a dotted minim, and a minim, or you can have a minim, minim, and dotted minim. They all sound different. So the first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the last one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the emphasis is in different places. Okay. Now we come to a very interesting part of time signatures, which you will come across a lot in your performances and in the music that you play and sing. And this is called an anacrusis. An anacrusis is also called an upbeat in music, and it occurs when a musical phrase starts on a weak pulse, usually on the weakest pulse of a meter. So if you look at the screen, you'll see that I've written out the start of a rhythm, and it starts on the 4th beat alone. Do you see that the number 4 is underneath it? Then you get a bar line and then beat 1. An anacrusis means that you are starting the music before the main strong beat. Okay, and I'm going to try and give you a demonstration of that using a song which I think you will know. I'm going to sing it for you, just a little bit of it, so that you can tell me if you know it or not. It goes like this. Siyahamba kukanyeni kwekos, siyahamba kukanyeni kwekos. It's quite a popular church song. Have any of you heard it before?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Good. Now, this song is going to help us to understand what an anacrusis is. If you think about the word siyahamba, if you said siyahamba or siyahamba or siyahamba, the word would not be correct. The emphasis is on the ham, siyahamba. Okay. Now, to get that across in music, we have to delay the 3rd syllable to the 1st beat. So look at the music there. You'll see it's in 4/4 time. Okay. And you'll see that the ham of siyahamba is on beat 1. Do you see there's a bar line and then you get ham? Okay. That's on beat 1. So the strong beat, the emphasis is in the correct place. But the syllables si, ya have to be on a weak beat. Siyaham. Okay? So that is called an anacrusis. When you delay the beginning or you delay the strong beat so that there can be 1 or 2 or 3 weak beats before it. And usually this is to accommodate language or particular words when you are singing. Okay? Does this make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so try and think of it like words. When you have any kind of words in any language, certain syllables have stronger emphasis than others. Okay, like Nkosi Namandla has different syllables that are stronger or weaker than others. And to accommodate that in music, we have to sometimes push the 1st beat a little bit ahead so that you can have weaker beats before it. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back to that in a minute so that I can give you another example, because I'm going to sing something just now for you, which also has an anacrusis. But before that, I want to explain something called syncopation. Syncopation is a technical name for rhythms that occur off the main beat. Okay. And composers often use syncopation to make their music very exciting and urgent. The reason for this is when you are not using the primary strong beats for your music, it gives the feeling of the rhythm a strong emphasis of urgency or feeling unresolved. So that's why composers use it to kind of create energy. And you'll see how that works in an example, which I'm going to sing to you now. This is a Sotho church song, but I believe that it's also sometimes used as a Zulu wedding song, or the tune is used as a Zulu wedding song. I'm going to sing it for you first, and then I'm going to describe to you what's going on. Okay? It goes like this. Hallelujah, ilotsa rona, dita bile kaufela. Hallelujah, ilotsa rona, dita bile kaufela. Now, if you look at the time signature, it says 3/4 time, okay? But you'll see that beat 1 only starts happening on the syllable lu of hallelujah. Can you see that? If you say the word hallelujah, the emphasis is on the syllable lu. You don't say hallelujah or hallelujah or hallelujah. You say hallelujah. Okay, so the composer has delayed the first beat so that it can be on the syllable lu. And the 2 weaker beats, hale, come before the first beat. Okay, then have a look at the beats 1, 2, and 3. Okay, in the first bar, do you see that I've put beat 2 and there's like a little dotted line going down there? Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you see that there is no musical note on that where beat 2 is? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Look in the next bar. Do you see that where beat 2 and beat 3 are? There is no musical note written on the strong beats. Do you see that the beats are written in between them? D and ta are in between beat 2 and beat 3. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When that happens, and it happens again further on in the song, that's called syncopation, where the notes happen in between the main beats. Now, I'm going to try and show that to you by clapping the main beats and then singing the notes above that. Okay, so here's the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Hallelujah. Pilotsarona. Dita bile kaufela. Hallelujah. Pilotsarona. Dita bile kaufela. You can hear it particularly strongly on the word or on the syllables di and ta. They come in between the main beats. Listen to it again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Hallelujah. Pilotsarona. Dita bile kaufela. Hallelujah. Pilotsarona, dita bile kaufela. You can also hear it with the syllables ha and le of hallelujah. They come off the beat. Can you hear how that's working? That is called syncopation, where notes come off the strong beat. Okay? Now, I'm going to clap some other examples for you so that you can see how this works. Just have a look at the examples on the screen now. The first one is in 4/4 time. So we've got 4 crotchets in the bar. Okay. In the first bar, everything is normal. But in the second bar, do you see that the second bar starts with a quaver? That means it's a half a beat. All right. So the next beat is going to come in between beat 1 and beat 2. And so it works all the way through. Listen to what it sounds like. I'm going to count 4 first, and then I'm going to clap the rhythm there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you feel that the clapping is happening off the beat from the second bar? Listen again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that is syncopation. All right. If we look at the next example, 6/8. Is 6/8 simple or compound time?
Compound.
Compound time. Okay, so we're dealing with dotted crotchet pulses, which divide into 3. Okay, so the strong pulses are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They come on 1 and 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this example, if you look at bars 2 and bar 4, you'll see that here this is worth 2 quavers, that's 2 quavers, that's 2 quavers. So they are going to come off the main beat. Let me clap it for you so that you can hear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You hear that when I'm doing bar 2 and bar 4, when I say 4, nothing is happening. Okay, listen to it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you hear that when I count the number 4, there isn't a clap on that? That is normally the strong beat. But in bars 2 and bar 4, the clapping comes off that main beat. That is what syncopation is. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to go back now to that. To the song that I was singing in a minute. Oh, sorry, now I've gone past it. Just have a look at the screen now for this Hallelujah Pilotsarona, because when you look at the Halle over here, you'll see that the bar line, the first bar line is over here. Do you see that? So these notes are called the anacrusis. They come before the first main beat. What is, if we were to add these 2 notes together, what would they equal? This is a crotchet and this is a quaver. What would they be worth?
1.5.
Correct, 1.5. Okay. Now, when you are doing an anacrusis at the beginning of a piece, at the end of the piece, the bar at the end, you must take off the number of beats that was added at the beginning from the last bar. So let's have a look here. How much is this note worth over here?
One.
Yes. And this rest?
Half.
A half. So this is equal to 1.5. 1.5 plus 1.5 is equal to 3. Okay, so when you are using an anacrusis at the beginning, you take that anacrusis off the last bar, which I've done over there. Okay. Right. Are there any questions so far? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'm still going to go through a couple of things now. All right. Seems like there are no questions. Now I'm going to share the screen and we're going to have a look at the worksheet for this week. Right, so I've got it up. Can you see the worksheet up on your screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll see that your aims this week are to revise writing major scales with and without key signatures. That's what we learned last semester, okay? It's at this point in your academic career, you cannot forget what you've learned in the before, okay? We're going to keep on adding to the knowledge that you had in the first semester. So we've got to revise that to make sure that it's still fresh in your mind. Then we're going to look at writing major key signatures correctly. We're going to insert bar lines in rhythmic examples. We're going to insert time signatures into rhythmic examples, and we're going to identify bars with syncopation. So your task this week is to write the following major scales without key signature. That means that you're going to put the sharps and the flats in front of each separate note. E major, E flat major, D flat major, A major scale. Then for question 2, you're going to write the following major scales with a key signature. So that means you're going to put the sequence of sharps or flats at the very beginning, just over there, okay? And then you don't add the sharps or flats in front of each separate note, just in the key signature at the beginning. And you're going to do that with D major and A flat major scale. Then you're going to write the key signatures in both the treble and the bass clef for B major, G flat major, E major, D flat major, and C sharp major. Then for question 4, you're going to put the bar lines into the following examples. Do you remember how to do this? How do you work out where the bar lines must go? Anybody? Well, you have to look at the time signature first, okay? And the time signature, for example, here is 5/4. The 4 at the bottom tells us that we're dealing with crotchets. The 5 at the top tells us we've got 5. So 5 crotchets is equal to 5. Each bar must be equal to 5. So a crotchet is worth 1. Quaver is worth half, quaver is worth half, quaver is worth half, quarter, quarter. So that's 1, 2, 3, quarter, 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 quarter is equal to 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a half and a half. So that's also equal to 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first bar line is going to come there. Okay, so use the time signature to work out, firstly, the bottom number, which pulses you're working with, the top number, how many, and then you calculate what each bar must be worth. In 5/4, it's going to be 5. In 3/2, you're dealing with the 2 at the bottom tells us we're dealing with minims. The top number tells us we've got 3 minims. Each minim is worth 2. 2, 4, 6. So each bar must be worth 6. So you do the same procedure, okay? Then for question 5, insert the correct time signature into the following example. So you do the same sort of thing as you did before in reverse. Now you count how much each of these bars is worth, and you put the time signature at the beginning. And then the last question, circle the bars in which the rhythm is syncopated. So you're going to have to look at that syncopation little part of the chapter which is set for today to make sure that you fully understand what syncopation is. Then you circle the bars in this example down here, which have syncopation in them. Okay, that's what you are going to do for this week. Are there any questions about worksheet 1? Is anybody still there?
Yes, sir. I have a question
Okay.
with regards to putting lines for the the
Yes.
different bars.
Yes.
The 3-2. I was kind of confused.
Mhm.
And now you're saying that each bar equals 6.
Correct.
Can you re-explain that, please?
Yes. Okay. Can you see the screen at the moment? I've brought it over here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The 2 at the bottom tells us that the note values that we are working with are minims, correct?
Yes.
All right. The 3 at the top tells us that there must be 3 minims in each. Correct? You with me?
Yes. Yes.
So a minim is worth 2. If we have 3 minims, that means we've got 2 plus 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is equal to 6.
Yes.
Okay, that means that every complete bar in 3-2 must be worth 6 to be complete. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So if we were to look over here, how much is a dotted minim worth?
That's 3.
Yes. How much are two quavers worth?
1.
Yes. How much is this one worth?
1.
How much is this one worth?
1.
Yes. So this is 3 plus 1
1. 1
plus 1. So the first bar line is going to come over there. Okay.
Right.
That whole set of notes over here is equal to 6.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. Thank you.
If we look at this one over here for everybody else as well, because this is the same principle, 6-4. The 4 at the bottom tells us that we're dealing with crotchets. Okay. The 6 at the top tells us we're dealing with 6 crotchets in the bar. A crotchet is worth 1. Okay. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 6. So each complete bar is also equal to 6 in 6-4. So that's worth 1. That's a half plus a quarter plus a quarter. This whole thing is equal to 1. This is 1. This is 1. That's equal to 1. That's equal to 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of those together is equal to 6. So the first bar line comes there. Are you all with me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Are there any other questions that anybody wants to ask? I don't see any hands up. So I just want to quickly go through the oral exercises then for this week. So let's have a look at the oral exercises here. For this week, there are 2. One is for clapping, right? And it's in simple time, so it's fairly simple to work out, okay? The singing one is an important one because we started doing these exercises last semester, and now we need to see if we can refine our techniques a little bit. So if we look at the singing exercise, it's in 4/4 time. That means there are 4 crotchets in each bar. If we were to clap the rhythm from that, it's a very simple rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pa, 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 pa. So the rhythm is not difficult. Okay. The tune is not difficult either because it's basically going up and down some notes. Okay. So if this is the starting note, la, okay. The first bar is very simple. It just goes step by step from one note to the next. The first note is a C, D, E, F. They're just going up by step. So if this is the starting note, it just goes da, 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 da. Okay. Then I'm going to leave the rest of that exercise for you to work out yourself. Just remember that if the same note is written over and over again, you've got to keep on singing the same note over and over again. If the notes go up, you go up. If the notes go down, you go down. I just want to show one thing in this particular exercise. I can't remember now, just offhand, if we dealt with clapping triplets last semester. I think we just started doing it. But just as a reminder, this is how triplets work. If you are in simple time, like this one is in 3/4 time, a triplet means that you have to divide the main beat into 3 instead of the normal 2. Okay, so if we're in 3/4 time, 1, 2, 3. Here are the pulses, 1, 2, 3. Normally, those 3 beats would divide into 2. Da, da, di, da, di, da, di, da. Okay, but when they're triplets, they divide into 3. Di, da, da, di, da, da, di, da, da, di, da. So this particular bar will go like this: 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that each pulse there divides into 3 instead of what it normally would be 2. Okay. So those are your oral exercises for this week. Are there any questions about those? No questions. All right. Any comments before we finish for today? So the one thing you will have seen that is different this semester from last semester is that your work is always due on a Monday now, okay? So this week's work is not due tomorrow, but on Monday. All right, so you've got the weekend to do that work. All right, no questions? I'll just,
No, sir.
is there a question, Tamia? Do you want to ask a question?
No, sir, I was saying there's no questions on my side.
Okay. Has anybody else got questions? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. That's our class for today. Try the worksheets, give them a try, and then send them in to me through WhatsApp by Monday so that I can mark them and give them back to you. And then we'll see how next week goes. Okay, have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you, sir.